I'm living. I'm just, yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who haven't been here, my name is Chantel, and today we are going to be talking about the application process for buying your first house. I'm going to make a statement right now. I am not a real estate agent. I am not a mortgage consultant. I'm simply telling you the process that I went through and the things that I didn't know going into it, so I can help some of you guys that are looking into buying your first house. Of course, we have another makeshift stand. Don't be judging me. We are in a different room though, so you will get this wall and that wall, which is going to show you the walls of my kitchen, sneak peek. And then behind me is the fireplace of the back living room. So, all right, let's get into the nitty gritty. So the first part that I had remembered to do was to get a pre-approval. For those of you that do not know what a pre-approval is, it's a document that pretty much states from the mortgage consultant that you will be approved, most likely be approved for that amount of money for that house. Now, this is important because you don't want to fall in love with the house and then realize or think that you can afford it, and in reality, the bank declines you. So it's very important, and some places and some real estate agents won't work with you until you have that document. So make sure that that is where you start from the very beginning. Also, even if you can afford to have that, just kind of get a rough estimate through the pre-approval of what it would cost you a month, because it's very important to understand that just because you can afford it doesn't mean that you necessarily want to pay that much a month if you don't need that much. So just be very smart and cognizant when you are getting a pre-approval. And then most importantly, this is like my tip, is to search the area that you want to move to and see what the median is, or the price range that you're willing to pay for a house that has everything that you want, and then ask for a pre-approval for that amount, okay? Because then that makes it easier, because you're not going into a market with too low amount or too high of an amount. You already kind of have a feel on what is expected, and you'll still have opportunities to see a lot of property. All right, our next order of business. So now you have your pre-approval, and you have to find a real estate agent. For people that don't like to get real estate agents and like to look around, some places will not let you come in without a real estate agent. So I think it's very important, because they actually know the market, they actually know what's up, and some of them get these online sites where they get first dibs on houses over, you know, the general public. So I think it's a great tool. And also, you have to think that these people know what they're doing, and you might not have any clue when you're going into a house what you're looking for, anything that like rings a bell, anything that will potentially be a problem. Your real estate agent will usually bring it out if that's the right real estate agent. I needed a real estate agent that worked all the time, so that they were available when I was available, because I'm an auditor and it was during busy season, so it was very, very intense trying to look for a house. So it was good getting a person that understood that and took time out when I needed her the most. So if you are in the Delaware area and you are looking for a real estate agent, let me know. I will refer you to my real estate agent. So just reach out to me in the comments below, wherever. Or on Instagram. I will respond to either. So, okay, you got your real estate agent, you got your pre-approval. Now you're looking for houses. When you're looking online, you have to keep in mind, do I want a fixer-upper, or do I want a move-in ready? That's huge, because if you want a fixer-upper, then you know you're gonna be putting money into this house. So you wanna kind of low ball the houses, because you're going to be putting in the amount of money to make the difference. If you want a move-in ready house, you have to take that into account when you're putting your amount into your pre-approval, because these houses might be more expensive because they're basically all done. It's just fixing it up, changing color, doing anything that you want to do to make it more your home. All right, so next order of business is when you go into these houses, they're going to give you these forms. It's called the home disclosure. Don't just toss those. Read them. Because if you fall in love with the house and it has damages that are disclosed on the disclosure, they're saying like water damage, they're saying all these things. You need to make sure that you're aware and that you are okay with these things. Later down the line in the process, if they accept your offer, all that stuff, then you can bring up those things that you need, but you need to also know those things because you need to know if it's even worth it. Is it worth it going into a house that has these damages that potentially they wouldn't be fixing it? And if you had a decision between 2 or 3 houses, that could be a determining factor. So it's very important that you read those through thoroughly. All right. So you've now selected your house, okay? So this is when your nerves start and you put in an offer. Well, your real estate agent puts in an offer and they accept it. Yes, they accept it. Now you have to think about the timeline from this point as to when you need to get stuff done. So the down payment, my down payment was due within 5 days here in Delaware. In some other places, it might be completely different. So you really need to know that deadline and know that that's when you have to give the money to the people for the house. And you would get your percentage and everything from your mortgage consultant. So that's all done through your mortgage consultant. So this down payment is given in a certified check, not cash, not a regular check, a certified check, the correct certified check, okay? You get these through the bank and you usually have to pay $10. Not bad. So just remember you're paying for your down payment so far and you are paying for your certified check, all right? Some states require that you get a lawyer to handle everything for the closing. Some states don't. I know Pennsylvania doesn't, Delaware does, so I had to get a lawyer. But usually the real estate agents will just send out that, you know, they have this client looking for a lawyer, they will contact you, you pick the one that you like. So you can scout around, see what you like best. I picked an awesome lawyer, so if you need those deets as well in Delaware, let me know. But these lawyers are not paid till the closing. So you actually don't have to think about that payment. All good. They're gonna send you what they need from you and then you send back whatever they ask you for. Okay, so your offer was accepted. Woo! Yes, so you saw. Now you got the house you wanted, they accepted your bid. Now what? Okay. Inspections. So you can waive an inspection. Totally fine if you want to do that. But you can also go through with the inspection. And the reason why I say go through with the inspection is because there might be underlying things that the human eye can't see. And you need to get someone in here that has seen it before that can red flag it. Like, this is an issue that needs to get fixed. This will eventually have to get fixed. Like, you can look at a roof and think that the roof is fine, and an expert can come and tell you, no, like, you need to get a new roof. There is a foundation issue in the house. So the house is leaning. You don't want to eventually have your house on the ground. Like, that's huge, and that can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you really have to take that into consideration when you're deciding if you want to do an inspection. I personally think that inspections are very good, and they will tell you everything, which is the good part. The bad part, it's expensive. So inspection can be anywhere from, I guess, $400 to $600. I paid closer to the 600 and something. So you have to take that into account. That doesn't come out of your closing. It doesn't come out of your down payment. You need to pay that out of pocket. So take that into consideration. Another aspect that's not thought about is when something is red flagged on the inspection, he's not going to tell you, oh, you need to get a new roof. He's going to tell you, you need to get your roof inspected by a roofer. So you have to actually pay for a roofer to come over. If your foundation issue is really a problem and the inspector flags it, you need to get an engineer to come in and do that stuff. So that's where the real estate agent can really come in handy, because they already have people that have worked with them and they have your best interest at heart, and they will get you a good person to do the job. And sometimes they can get you a really good price as well. So you have to take that into consideration. Okay, so you got your house, you paid your inspection costs, you got the specialist to come over. Now it's decision time. What is the top of your priority to be done on this house for you to move in? Your real estate agent will sit down with you. They will go through all the stuff that was red flagged, and they will create the list for you to send to the seller. So you have to think about what things you don't want to have to pay for, like a new roof, if there is water damage, if there is anything of that sort that's highly important. And you also have to take into account that if you have a certain type of mortgage, you might have certain types of requirements. For example, for FHA, they look at more specific safety things. So if there's no railings on the stairs, that kind of stuff. So your real estate agent is good because they'll call those things out and they'll be like, well, you need to have these things to pass your inspection for your loan to go through for your mortgage. So they are top priority as well. So safety is definitely top priority. And then you made this list and now you send it over to them. Good news is that they could decide to fix all this stuff. And bad news, they can choose not to fix these things and give you another list of what they can fix. And then you have to decide, are you willing to go in to that knowing the things that aren't going to get fixed? Can you fix them? Are they cheap things? Are they things that are going to cost you a long time to fix, a lot of money? You have to take all those things into consideration when you're deciding on if you're going to stay in the house right after their response. Okay, so now they got back to you and they told you yes, they will be fixing everything, or no, they wouldn't, but you decided to go through with it anyways and get the house. One aspect I did not think about was homeowners insurance. So on the list, they tell you that mortgage insurance is estimated to be this amount because they give you an estimate of all the mortgage items that make up your mortgage. That's not the same. So your homeowner's insurance is something completely separate that you can choose to pay yearly, or you can choose to pay for it with your mortgage monthly. The first time it's year in advance. The second time, I'm pretty sure it goes month by month within your mortgage. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I knew those were the two options that I received. And we paid for it in full the first year. Using the closing costs, which is good, that at least doesn't have to come out of pocket, but your situation might be a little bit different, so you have to take that into consideration. When you are looking for a homeowner's insurance, what I did was the easiest thing for me was I went online and got quotes. I used the home disclosure list that I spoke about earlier, and I also used the list of things that they were willing to fix, because then those things would be new and up to date. So you use that to fill that out. They give you quotes instantly. You go with whatever gives you the cheapest amount to pay a month, and you go from there. It's pretty annoying, but at the end of the day, you have some control over what your monthly payment is, and you take into consideration whatever else you have to pay, as well as the homeowner's insurance. Okay? Another portion where you might have to give money, I know, is the appraisal. So the appraisal is called on by your mortgage consultant, and why they want an appraisal is because they want to verify that the cost of the house is actually the cost of the house, and they're not overstating the cost of the house, because then they won't give you the loan for it. So if that's the case, then it comes back saying, oh, it's really not worth that much money, they won't give you the money, then they would have to lower the price of the house, or decide that they no longer want to go through with you. So it's another nerve-wracking event, but you have to take that into consideration because appraisals are kind of expensive. I paid around $500 for it. It could be more, it could be less depending on your area, but that is going to have to be paid to the mortgage consultant so that they can pay the person coming in for the appraisal. So you have to really take that into consideration. So you have cash outside of the beginning, your deposit, and outside of your closing costs, you have these fees to think about that are coming out of your pocket: the inspection, the specialist, and now you have to tackle on the appraisal. And those are very expensive things, but it's good to know before you go into buying a house, all right? So have a lot of money saved in your account, and make sure that it is in your account, because if it isn't in your account, they might request a gift form, which says that someone gifted you that amount of money, and they would have to sign everything, and it has to be a family member, a mother, a father, brother, sister, and it has to have been in your account for more than 3 months, I believe. Some places 6 months, but you have to, they will trace where the money came from to your sister, brother, whoever's account it came from. They will also trace their account to make sure that the money was in there for 3 to 6 months. So take that into consideration when you need this money, all right? All right, so before you are done and you are about to move into the house, you do this final walkthrough. So this is before they've given you the keys, before you sign any document. This is like your final, like, you could walk away now, or you really want this, and you get to see everything that they change. So they'll give you a list, and they'll provide receipts as well to things that were done to your real estate agent, and you'd need it for your mortgage consultants as well. They both require it. So you'll at least know that it's done, and you'll see it for your final walkthrough. And this is really good because you get to your last chance to walk in, see if you're still in love with the place, in love with the changes, and then you know for sure. So you're walking into the final stage with stars in your eyes, because things might be a little sad. I say things might be a little sad because this is where more money comes in. Okay, so your closing costs. This is when you're gonna sign all your paperwork. So you usually do this with the real estate agent, the seller, and if you're gonna have a lawyer and yourself. So you sign these documents, millions of documents. Like, I wish I had my folder in front of here so that you guys can see. I'll put a picture up here of the stack of freaking papers that I had to fill out. It was horrible, but it was good because I got the keys at the end. But closing costs. So these closing costs, they include the fees, the lawyer fees, the taxes for the year, insurance payment for the year, all of that. You'll know how much your closing fees are based on a percentage of your mortgage. So they will let you know, and then they will verify that number as it gets closer. So if you're doing it through a lawyer, your lawyer will be the one that tells you the final amount that you have to bring to closing. There is some good news though. You can get seller's assistance. This can be done by, in the contract, saying that you want them to cover your seller's costs. Your buyer's costs. Sorry about that. Your buyer's costs. And you say this when you're sending in your offer, and then you verify it when you send in, after you send in all your paperwork and you both have decided and it's all signed, that they will be willing to pay. Sometimes they won't pay 100% of it, but they'll pay a good chunk of it, which will leave you with a good small amount to pay at your closing, which is amazing regardless. So that's all the money that you have to put down. I know I listed so many things that you might not have known throughout the process, but it's good to come in aware of these things so that you aren't shocked. remember that your closing fees, just like your down payment, has to be in a certified check. Again, certified check. So keep that in mind. Think about these things. Comment below if there's anything I didn't cover and you had a question about. I'm more than willing to tell you what I experienced. Can't tell you anything past that. I'm not an expert, but I've heard a lot and I've seen a lot, so I feel like I could give you a good opinion, okay? Leave it to me to forget something you have to do before your closing. You have to turn on your electricity, your gas, your water. You have to take care of the garbage company. You have to do all these things. And they don't give you like a list like, oh, do it. They'll just be like, worry about your utilities. They should all be programmed to start the day of your closing. Remember that. The day of your closing is when those things start. You don't want to have to pay for other stuff. So put it in. You have to also take into consideration, some of those take payments up front, like the garbage usually does. Sometimes your gas and your electricity are in one bill, like it is in Delaware. Other times, like in Pennsylvania and Hazleton, it's separated. So you have to go to the two different companies and do it. You also have to take into consideration some of those companies require down payments. And these down payments are some hefty ass down payments. So in Delaware, the down payment for the water, no, actually for the electricity is like $300. So you have to take that into account when you are going to put money aside. You don't have to pay it up front sometimes, those deposits. It comes with the bill that comes within a month or a couple of weeks from when you get the house. But take that into consideration as well. Hey, you made it to the end. I'm so grateful for those of you that came on and watched my video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below if you have any questions, if you need to know anything, if anything, even if I have to refer you to someone who knows. Let me know if you want my contact for my mortgage consultant, for my real estate agent, and for my lawyer if you're in the Delaware area. If you're in the Pennsylvania area, the mortgage consultant I used was in Pennsylvania and works remotely, so I never met him, and I signed everything and sent everything online. So it was a very smooth process. So as always, let me show y'all my belly. Whoop, still pregnant. I know it's big, whatever. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next time.
Said I'm just living how I'm living. I'm just, yeah.